All right, we are now live. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Jones, and I serve as the coordinator of parent and family programs here in the Center for Student Success. And this is our October Seymour Scoop, and we're so excited to bring with you today some really helpful information for your students. Today, I am meeting with Ms. Christy Oberst, who serves as the director for University Advisement Center. And we're going to really get diving into some information that's really pertinent to this time of year as students are preparing for advisement for their spring semester. So thank you so much, Ms. Oberst, for being with us today.
Thanks, Ashley. I'm really excited to be here and share some important information with everyone.
Wonderful. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. So could you tell us just a little bit about what the Advisement Center is? What is it composed of?
Happy to. So the Advisement Center at Southern Miss is a fairly new office on campus. It's an office that was officially established on the Hattiesburg campus last fall. It was something that's been in the works for quite a while. But really the focus of our office is to help our students navigate their pathway from entry through graduation. And at this point, we are doing that by serving as official academic advisors for students who are in their first year. And so students who are incoming to the freshman cohort, so first time in college, that's regardless of any incoming credit. So if a student comes in with AP credits or dual enrollment credits, but it's their first time to be a first-time full-time college student in most of the majors across campus, then we serve them in our office. But we also go beyond academic advising. And so while advisement is our primary function in helping students to understand how to reach their degree and stay on track to do that in a very timely manner, we also want to help students in learning how to navigate SOAR, which is a big task, understanding the different university policies and procedures. We're also here to help students get connected. We serve as a hub to connect students to referrals and resources and opportunities on campus to get engaged, to be successful, and things that can help them really enjoy their experience here. And so we partner and collaborate with various offices and units across campus to make sure that our students are connecting in places that it makes sense for them. And so in all of those pieces, while we only do official academic advising for our freshman students in most of the majors across campus at this point, we also help any student, regardless of if it's a student who's a freshman or a sophomore, a student who is a potential student. If anybody reaches out to us, we're happy to give them general information to help them get to the right place, to help them navigate some decisions. If they need to explore their major options, we can help them to navigate those pieces and resources that help them to do that. And then when it comes to pure academic advisement and looking at classes to proceed and progress to a degree, at this point, we are advising students, again, who are in their first year, and those specific areas are going to be colleges of arts and sciences, business and economic development, and nursing and health professions. So that's the students that we do serve at this time, and then the ways that we serve the general student body as well.
Awesome. So I'm glad that you covered that. That was actually my second question was, what are the specific groups of students that are advised? Because I've known that there are certain students, and so that's helpful to know that those specific colleges and those departments, those are the students that you're advising at this time at least. So if a student isn't advised by the Advisement Center, how should they go about being advised?
That's a great question. It can be a little bit confusing, and we understand that. For students who are in the College of Education and Human Sciences, regardless of their classification, if they're freshman, junior, sophomore, senior, if they're the first semester here or if they've been here for a while, at this moment, all students in the College of Education and Human Sciences are advised by student support specialists and their student advisement and support center. And so they have specific contacts listed in SOAR, as well as information that gets sent to them through their email, their USM email, that helps them to know where to go, where to book, how to get advised, and things of that nature. And then similarly for our upper class students, if this is not their first year in college, so if it's a transfer student who's wondering where they go and how they get advised, or if it's a student who's just been here for more than a year, then they're going to be advised by the unit that they are majoring in. So for example, if a student is majoring in English, then they're going to seek out the faculty mentor and advisor listed in SOAR, which would be tied to the English program. So that would be a faculty who that is their expertise. They know everything and anything about the English degree plan, some of the specific electives, some of the opportunities to network and get into different research opportunities, as well as more information about career-oriented paths and opportunities. And so we make that transition after that first year for most of our students into their faculty mentors and advisors so that they can move into more advanced information in their degree.
Wonderful. What if a student is not sure what to do to get advised, if they're not familiar with that process or hasn't been able to reach his or her advisor? What's the best way to get in contact with their advisor to schedule that appointment?
I'm so glad you asked that. We understand that this semester, more than any other semester before, we have an abundance of emails that are getting received and sent. And
Yes.
We know that while a lot of communication that's very important is coming through USM email, it is really also important to know that I know students are getting overwhelmed some days with getting lots of emails that makes it hard for them to tune in and focus and identify the ones that are important, and then filter out those that are not so important. So if a student is feeling a little bit lost in this process, one of the things that I would recommend they do first is that they log into their SOAR account. In your SOAR account, a student can click on a number of different places to get to the same information. If they're looking in their home page, there should be different tiles on that home page. And one of the tiles is an advising tile. And that specific tile should list their advisor's name and contact information. And that would be the starting place. So reaching out to the person who's listed there is great. Now, if, as you mentioned, there's maybe no one listed in that tile, it's blank, or if someone has reached out and they haven't heard back from that advisor in a reasonable amount of time, and so I'm not meaning 5 minutes, I'm not meaning Sunday night at 9 p.m., but if it's been 1 or 2 days and it's weekdays, it's within business hours, and they're still not hearing back, another really helpful opportunity is, again, if a student logs into their SOAR account, if they navigate to the Student Center tile, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a link that says Ask an Advisor. And if they will click that and fill out a form, that form will come into our office and we will follow up to make sure that student is taken care of. And so we'll either try to connect to see what the holdup is or what the issue is. Another thing to keep in mind, just a tidbit of information or a tip, is make sure that if a student is reaching out to their advisor, they need to be emailing from their USM account. And so that helps us to align ourselves with FERPA requirements, making sure that we're not disclosing information to anyone with an @Yahoo or @Gmail account. We want to be really careful that we're aligning ourselves with those requirements. And so making sure that we are emailing from the USM account helps to make sure we get a response and the advisor feels confident in giving out information to that student. Right. But if they're not getting a response or they don't have anyone listed or they're not sure who to ask a question or they have concerns, that Ask an Advisor link is a wonderful way to have someone help triage that situation and get them closer to a solution. Now, another place to find that exact same link is on our Advisement Center website, which is simply usm.edu/advisement-center. And the bottom of that page, there's also a link to Ask an Advisor. And if a student has downloaded iSouthern Miss, the app, then in the first year persona, I know for a fact that one of the tiles listed is Ask an Advisor. So multiple avenues to get to the same place. And that can help a student if they're really feeling lost or in a tough spot.
Wonderful. And you've mentioned this in talking about what Advisement and Advisement Center and what you do. but could you express or stress for us a little bit more about the importance of advisement and if students are able to register for classes without it?
Oh, that is such a hot topic question. Um, Advisement is a process that is required for all Southern Miss students. Students must meet with their assigned advisor and review the classes that they are needing to take in the upcoming semesters. Ideally, that conversation includes a few other things for the students who meet with advisors in my office. That absolutely happens, where we're, again, taking that holistic approach to making sure that students have information about their degree plan, who can be a faculty mentor in their program, opportunities we know about, talking to them about how classes are going and if there are tutoring options if that's needed. We also want to make sure that they understand how to start taking some steps independently. So understanding how to view information in their degree plan, select courses on their own, starting to prepare them to transition in the coming years to being a bit more independent in learning those pieces. And so, yes, it is very much required. The importance of it is simply to make sure that students are progressing in an effective way toward their degree plan. And we also want to make sure that they're getting good information. So advisors dedicate and invest a lot of time and effort and energy and a lot of passion into helping our students to move forward. And we want to make sure that they are taking advantage of that resource to make sure that they are getting good information to help them navigate. We know that a lot of students, it's very common for them to change majors. So we want to make sure that students, if they choose to change their major, that they have an opportunity to discuss that with an advisor, see how that might impact their pathway toward degree. We also understand that students in this virtual landscape right now find it really challenging. You know, most students didn't intend to be in a largely virtual format, and we understand that. And so sometimes navigating time management, navigating social connectedness is something that we can help with. And so the importance of advisement is definitely making sure we stay on track with classes, but also making sure you can get connected to the wealth of information us as advisors have and we want to help students get connected with.
Absolutely. Wonderful. That's certainly been a question that I've had with some of the students that I've worked with. We have a program in our office, academic coaching, and some of those students, we've navigated the importance of advisement and when you should get advised, which leads me into this next question. It's really hard to believe that it is October, right? I mean, it seems like school just started. It seems like it was just the summer, but it's the middle of October. And so we know that this fall semester is quickly wrapping up. So with that being said, when will students need to register for their spring classes? Is there an important date to do so by? We know that January will be here before we know it. So when should students register for spring 2021 classes?
Great question. That is a little bit of a complicated question to answer, but I'm going to do my best to make it very simple to understand. So the way that our advisement structure across campus is in place is that our students are available to enroll as of a certain date each semester. But that's contingent on if they've completed their advisement with their advisor, right? And so the quick answer is October 8th, so last week, the end of last week, open enrollment began. And what that means is that for students, as they get advised, they can go ahead and register in their classes. I have definitely had some students and some loved ones share their concerns about why is the open enrollment at October 8th, but they can't enroll until they meet with their advisor 2 weeks later. And the truth is that across campus, as students get advised, we want them to go ahead and register right during or immediately following that advisement appointment. That makes sure that the courses that have been discussed and agreed upon as the best next step for that student are still available. So if a student had been advised early, then class availability could have changed before that open enrollment began if it was a mad rush to the finish line on October 8th. But instead, the common practice is that on October 8th, most of the advisors started seeing students, and each appointment at the end of it is hopefully concluding with registration for the upcoming semester. So the short answer is that open enrollment has started. The more complicated piece is that students must complete that advising appointment to then register. And so when should students get advised? As soon as they can get that appointment with their advisor.
Wonderful. And so now that we've talked about the importance of advisement, when students should register for classes, when they should reach out to their advisor, and how the different opportunities of how students can find an advisor and reach their advisement through SOAR, through the iServe app, tell us how parents and families play a role in students' advisement processes. What can parents and families communicate with their students as they are preparing to meet with their advisor and schedule classes for the next semester?
Absolutely. You know, we need all the help that we can get. We want students to get registered so that they have the best possible course to and set of courses that help move them forward, something that makes sense individually for that student. And the way that we can get parents and families to play a role in this is, one, have the conversation, asking your student, hey, do you have an advisement appointment scheduled? When is that appointment? And making sure that they've set themselves up to have a productive session with their advisor. So for example, if they say, oh yeah, I think I've scheduled that appointment, saying, okay, well, let's find out when it is, and helping to encourage them to set up some type of an alert, sticky notes on their door or phone reminders, something that's going to start flashing and ringing to say, hey, your appointment's right now. You need to get set up to your computer and log into Zoom or what have you. So having the conversation just to make sure that the logistical piece of setting up that appointment is done, and that there's some reminder system in place to make sure the student is there. And also encouraging the student that this is an important meeting. As you heard earlier, it's a requirement across campus. And it's not just that it's a requirement to check off, but it impacts pathway toward degree. So if a student gets advised and then they don't follow through with the advisement, if they choose to take a different route, we understand that's the student's choice. But the truth is, we're hoping to make sure that you can finish in 4 years, most students, right?
Right.
I understand that some students have a different timeline for various reasons, but we want to make sure that you're making the most of your money. We know that parents and families are invested financially and emotionally and mentally into this process. And we know that there's this hope, this light at the end of the tunnel, and we want to make sure that your student is staying on track to complete in a timely manner so that they can move on and be productive citizens and start to be more self-sufficient and independent in their career path. And so that's our end goal. And parents just having those brief conversations to say, have you gotten advised yet? Have you had your appointment? Are you registered? And making sure they know to reach out if they have questions. Also reassuring them, we've had a lot of students who have been anxious about their advising appointment and wondering what that is and what that means and what it might feel like, and understanding that the advisor is an advocate for that student. We are operating we are the coach in their corner, wanting to make sure that things are going well and making sure that we set things in their path that can help them to excel. So understanding that there's nothing to be afraid of, we are here to be supportive and encouraging and helping them to face sometimes difficult conversations and difficult decisions with the best possible information and with a respect and kindness and understanding that we're all humans just trying to move forward in this together.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. I actually had a conversation with a student. It was at the end of last week, and this particular student just needed some assistance, some additional assistance with navigating her major, and was thinking of changing to a different major and wanted to know what classes. And I said, hey, I'm not the expert in that. I will give you as much information as I can. I will research, but your advisor is the expert. This is the person that will know more about the particular classes that are required for this major, what semester those classes should take. You have a degree progress report. And so I am certainly an advocate for advisors, and on our end of things, we definitely appreciate the work that you do for students and assisting them in taking the appropriate classes in the right semesters. So thank you for outlining that and speaking with parents and families about the importance of their role in this process. Students are speaking with their parents, they're talking about classes, they're talking about the semester. And so if families can continue to be an advocate for advisement and for classes and for registrations and things like that, that's certainly a wonderful role that we need your help with. So families, thank you for communicating with your students, and please share this information with them. We know that they're getting lots of emails and things like that, but if it's that conversation at dinner or conversation in the car on the way to the store, just please be sure to share as much information about advisement as possible and reach out to myself or Miss Christy Oberst for additional information or support if you need it.
Absolutely. Ashley, I'm going to jump back in and say that that's another way that parents and families can play a role in this advising process. A lot of us think of advising and we think about this one pivotal advising appointment that happens so that a student can register or pre-register for the next semester or semester's classes. And that's true to an extent, but the bigger truth and the more important thing to see here is that that's not the only function that we serve. We're here again, we're in the corner. Our office, the advisors who are in our office, we're here 12 months out of the year. We're here when other faculty might be not around and available if they're on the 9-month contract. And so it's important to understand we are here to help. And so if a student has questions, if a student's not sure where to turn, if a student is struggling in classes, certainly before any enrollment changes happen, I definitely recommend a student does reach out to their advisor to discuss that, because there may be multiple options on the table and there may be multiple consequences or domino impacts to making any of those decisions. And we can help to think through those, help to lay out different places to connect and ask questions and get all the information before making the best decision of those. But just help them to know that we're here and they don't have to wait until that one appointment to talk to us. We are happy to talk to students over the phone, through Zoom meetings, through Teams meetings. We are here to connect with students. We are primarily virtual this semester, and based on all the information we have right now, we anticipate it will be similar next semester. But we've had wonderful conversations and wonderful connections with students meeting through Zoom. It's been a silver lining of this is that we get to still connect with our students virtually. So just know we're here, and it doesn't have to be that official advisement appointment. We can connect through email, we can answer questions, have them reach out to us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for elaborating and sharing and emphasizing on that, because I think it's a bit of a taboo topic with students. They're like, oh, my advisor is the person I go to register for classes, but that's not all they're there for. You don't just think about them in October. They're always there to support you. And so I really, really appreciate you getting on with us today and sharing that and, kind of breaking that lining to say, hey, we're here for you all the time. And so I hope families will help us in, emphasizing that effort with students, that to keep that constant stream of communication open with your advisor, because they're truly there to assist you with being successful. And I know that, the Advisement Center is still relatively new on campus. Could you tell us a little bit about how many students you serve or have served in previous semesters?
Absolutely. And that will help me to actually also share what the eventual plan will be. So at this time, as I mentioned, we are official academic advisors for freshmen or first year students in colleges of arts and sciences, business and economic development, nursing and health professions. And there are some students who, depending on their specific situation, might hang out with us a little bit longer, but that's not the norm. And so right now, our office is serving around 1,600 students as official academic advisors. We have 11 advisors on staff. And so most of them are working with approximately between 170 and 220 students, just kind of depending on several factors. Eventually, we will When we are at full implementation, we will plan to be serving also first semester transfer students and all freshmen or first time students. And so we will really be that hub, that spot for first time students at Southern Miss, regardless of transfer or freshman status. But of course, with coronavirus, there's some question marks as to what that timeline looks like. So again, right now we are at 1,600 approximately. And again, we serve the campus at large. We in fact help faculty and staff navigate questions and situations, and can help with general information for any student who wants to reach out to us. One caveat that I will share is that for students who are on the Gulf Park campus, knowing that you have resources specific to your campus, and so Gulf Park has their own advisement center and they have their own success center with some resources. So I just want to clarify that we are currently serving students who are fully online students or who are Hattiesburg based.
Thank you. So as we wrap up our call for today, I want students and families to know where you're located and how they can reach you. So if you could share that with us, that'd be great.
I would be happy to. So our physical location in this wild semester is located in Cook Library. So on the Hattiesburg campus, fairly central where Starbucks is. We are on the second floor. Room 203 is our suite. However, as I mentioned, due to the coronavirus and the precautions and protocols in place, most of our offices are not suited to follow those protocols. And so we're not meeting with students in person in our offices. We are instead meeting virtually like this with our students this semester. As a result, a lot of our staff do continue some remote work to make sure that we are engaging in as much social distancing, our physical distancing and safety protocols so that we can hopefully be back together more quickly if we follow those pieces. To reach out to us, like I mentioned, our website has a lot of good information. There's also a lot of information for students, but at usm.edu/advisement-center, that also will host that Ask an Advisor form, which is incredibly useful for many, many different functions to ask and get some response and some assistance. And then also our phone number is 601-266-4626. Though I will recommend that email is sometimes the quickest way to reach any number of us on the staff. For example, if I'm in this meeting right now, I'm not going to answer my phone calls that are coming in. And so the more appointments we have booked up, especially for our advisors, it can be difficult to answer those phone calls if they're in an appointment with a student. And sometimes at this point of the semester, those appointments are all day. And so reaching out through email is really helpful. On our website, the tab that says People does have a listing of our advisors with their contact information, including their email, and also allow students to book appointments with them right there. If a student's not sure if they should be booking with our advisors or who they should be booking with for some reason, then we do have one of the links on that People page says View Advisors by Major, and that can help a student to navigate as well. Or if you're interested in a new possible major, then student can find, oh, if I'm currently that English major and I want to change over to computing, I could find who the computing advisor is and set up an appointment with that person or send them an email specifically.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. If you need additional information about the Academic Advising Center, please feel free to reach out to Ms. Oberst or myself. I'll make sure that that information is included in the description. Families, please know that you can reach myself or any of us in the Center for Student Success anytime. Our contact number is 601-266-4373. And our specifically our parent and family email address is parents with an S, parents and family at usm.edu. As the coordinator of parent and family programs, I'm certainly here as your advocate. I am here in your corner supporting you in any possible way. Please feel free to reach me directly. or to the main line, which is 601-266-6405. We are here to support you as you are supporting your students. We know that the students would not be as successful as they are at Southern Miss without your support. Lastly, what I want to do before we end, I want to say a happy Parent and Family Appreciation Week to each of you. Here at Southern Miss. We are celebrating Parent and Family Appreciation Week. All week long, students have had the opportunities to send words of thanks to each of you. Those are being shared on both our Facebook and our Instagram accounts. We've also had a postcard writing campaign all week long. We're doing some of that right now as we speak in the Thad Cochran Center, and we'll be doing that again tomorrow. So students have been sending beautiful postcards home to your families. I'll show you a couple of them here, and they have been filling them out with wonderful words to use. I can't wait to put these in the mail. So families, we just want to say that we appreciate you for the support that you provide to your students. Truly, it makes my heart warm when students are wanting to pour back into their families. So please continue to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more information and more support and some giveaways. We have given away some beautiful Southern Miss prize packs filled with Southern Miss goodies and family paraphernalia. And so please continue to be on the lookout for that, just as a thank you for all that you do for your students. And here in the Center for Student Success and with Parent and Family Programs, know that we're here to support you in any possible way that we can. Thank you so much for joining us for our October Seymour Scoop. We hope that you'll be with us again in November. And as always, as we say here at Southern Miss to the top. Have a great day.